Jak and Daxter should make a comeback. Like, Jak 3 was one of the most raw games of all time. And the Jak and Daxter trilogy was not only revolutionary, but it was transformative. Sony used to have so many cool little mascot characters. They all had such great games. But now they're all gone, and it seems like Sony doesn't care about them anymore. Seems like Sony's real interested in Astrobot, and that's cool. Astrobot's cool. But you know who else was cool? Jak and Daxter. Naughty Dog was just addicted to putting out straight-up bangers in the late 90s and early 2000s. They put out the Crash Bandicoot trilogy, which was fantastic, and then they followed that up with an awesome racing game, Crash Team Racing. Awesome game, so good, go play the remake. But then Naughty Dog said, you know what? Let's make another 3D platformer, let's do it again, but let's do it with a whole new world, whole new set of characters, and that's where Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy, came out in 2001. This game was a technical marvel. It had a seamless open world, it had no loading screens, and it featured these vibrant environments, which made it a standout title. This game introduced Jak, the silent protagonist with a mysterious destiny, and Daxter, his cool little Otzel companion. Jak and Daxter had a lighthearted tone. It was adventurous, and it was reminiscent of classic platformers like Spyro and Banjo-Kazooie. But beneath all the humor and charm, there were hints of something deeper. This was a world filled with an ancient technology and a mysterious energy known as Eco, and Jak's story would soon take a much darker turn. In 2003, Naughty Dog took a bold leap with Jak 2. Gone were the bright, colorful landscapes from the first game, and in their place stood Haven City, a dystopian metropolis filled with crime, corruption, rebellion, and danger. Jak, who was once a silent protagonist, now had a voice, and Jak had a vengeance as well. Jak was pissed. After being captured and experimented on with Dark Eco, Jak emerges angrier, more complex, and more human. This shift in tone was a huge change at the time, but it helped elevate the series to new heights. Jak 2 took the open world platforming and exploration from the first game, but it added guns, it added third-person shooting, and it added flying cars and vehicular combat. Jak 2 was ambitious, it was cinematic, and the game was unapologetically hard at points. This game's narrative depth and mature themes also set it apart from its contemporaries at the time, and it proved that platformers could tell serious and emotionally charged stories. And then in 2004 came Jak 3, the absolute pinnacle of the series. Jak 3 was set in the desolate wasteland outside of Haven City, and Jak 3 expanded the world even further, taking all the best elements of its predecessors and combining it into one cohesive experience. Jak 3 followed the story of Jak's exile and redemption, and it explored themes of loyalty, identity, and destiny. The tone was mature, but it was still balanced with humor thanks to Daxter's constant banter and camaraderie of returning allies. Gameplay-wise, Jak 3 refined everything that made Jak 2 great. Jak 3 had smoother controls, better vehicle handling, and a wider array of weapons and powers. Jak 3 also introduced light eco powers, which gave Jak new abilities and symbolized his internal balance between light and darkness. The desert setting with its vast dunes and high-speed sand vehicles gave the game such a cinematic, almost post-apocalyptic feel. This game was bold, and it was an emotional conclusion to one of the most ambitious trilogies of its time. Jak 3's story begins with betrayal. After saving Haven City from destruction at the end of Jak 2, Jak is accused of treason and he's exiled to the wasteland, a barren desert where survival is a daily struggle. The city he fought to protect has turned against him, and the people he once called allies have abandoned him. And Jak's exile is more than just physical, it's symbolic. Jak's banishment represents his internal conflict, his struggle to reconcile the darkness within him. The Dark Eco experiments that gave him power also left him scarred, both mentally and emotionally. Jak is a hero burdened by his own strength, unsure whether he's a savior or a monster. In the Wasteland, Jak finds himself in Spargus City, a harsh, unforgiving settlement ruined by King Damas. Here, strength and loyalty are the only currency that matters. To earn his place, Jak must fight in deadly arena battles, race across the desert, and prove his worth to a society that values survival above all else. Spargus becomes the crucible in which Jak's redemption begins. Stripped of his status and reputation, Jak must rebuild himself from nothing. Through his trials, Jak learns humility, resilience, and the value of leadership. Damas, a wise, noble ruler, becomes a father figure to Jak, a stark contrast to the betrayal he faced in Haven City. Unbeknownst to Jak, Damas is more than just a mentor. Damas was actually Jak's biological father, separated from him long ago. This revelation, delivered in the game's emotional climax, ties Jak's journey of redemption directly to his search for identity. Throughout Jak 3, Jak's internal struggle takes center stage. The dark eco that once consumed him still lingers, and it threatens to overwhelm his humanity. But this time, Jak learns to balance it with light eco, a new power that symbolizes hope, forgiveness, and self-control. This duality of darkness and light defines Jak's character arc. He is no longer the angry, vengeful figure from Jak 2, and instead he becomes a man who accepts his flaws and learns to channel his pain into purpose. The light eco powers are just not gameplay mechanics, they are a metaphor for Jak's redemption. By embracing both sides of himself, Jak achieves balance. He learns that true strength comes not from power or rage, but from understanding and acceptance. When Jak returns to Haven City, it's not as an outcast, but as a savior. The city is once again under siege, this time by the Metalheads and the mysterious Dark Makers, these ancient beings corrupted by the Dark Eco. Jak's return is the culmination of his redemption arc. The same people who once condemned him now look to him for salvation. Jak fights not for revenge, but for peace, and for the chance to protect the world that once rejected him. The final battles of Jak 3 are not just physical confrontations, they are symbolic of Jak's internal victory. By defeating the Darkmakers, Jak conquers the darkness within himself, and by saving Haven City, Jak redeems his name and fulfills his destiny as the hero he was always meant to be. Now, the earlier mentioned revelation that Damas is Jak's father adds a profound emotional weight to the story, but their reunion comes too late as Damas dies moments after Jak learns the truth. It's a heartbreaking moment that underscores one of the game's central themes, that redemption often comes at a cost. Jak's journey ends not with triumph, but with understanding. Jak has lost much, his innocence, his father, and his home. But Jak has gained something far greater. He's gained clarity. For the first time, Jak knows who he is. He knows what he stands for, and he knows what it means to be a hero. Jak 3 is more than an action-adventure game. It's a story about identity, forgiveness, and the human capacity for change. Jak 3 explores how pain can shape a person, but also how resilience and compassion can heal them. Jak's transformation from a voiceless adventurer to a complex, introspective hero mirrors the evolution of gaming itself. From simple escapism to mature storytelling, Jak's struggle with darkness and light reflects the universal human experience, the battle between who we are and who we aspire to be. In the end, Jak 3 is a story of redemption, but not just for its hero, for the world he inhabits. Jak 3 is a story about finding light in the darkest places, about forgiveness, and about the courage to face one's own reflection. Jak's journey reminds us that identity is not defined by the mistakes of the past, but by the choices made to rise above them. There's a lot more that could be said about Jak 3, including whether or not Jak is Mar. But Naughty Dog said, you know what? We know how to cap off a trilogy. We know what comes after. So they put out another racing game, Jak X. and then Naughty Dog moved on to making games about humans. Since Naughty Dog moved on, other studios made a couple games. They made like a Daxter PSP game. Then they had Jak and Daxter The Lost Frontier. And the studio that made that one is closed. But they made it so you could buy the game digitally on the PlayStation Store. And I haven't played it, so I'm going to go buy it and I'm going to play it and I'm going to see how it is. Because it couldn't have been that bad to close the studio. It looks like it got pretty okay reviews. It ain't no Jak and Daxter 4, but more Jak and Daxter is always good. Apparently they were talking about making a Jak and Daxter movie as well. I don't know if that's true or not. But you know what time it is. We're at that point in the video where it's time to say, Sony, it's time to bring back Jak and Daxter. Hashtag bring back Jak. We want more Jak. We want Jak and Daxter back again. If Naughty Dog is just out here making games about humans, I'm sure another studio might want to make Jak and Daxter. Or I don't know, maybe you guys only care about Astrobot. If Astrobot is the culmination of every single 3D platformer mascot you've ever had, that's cool, I guess. But Jak and Daxter deserves better. Bring back Jak. Hashtag bring back Jak. Hashtag Sony save Jak. And Sly, and every other 3D platformer character mascot you guys have, but aren't bringing back. I'm sure Astrobot's cool, like, I'm sure you have, like, the levels and the costumes in Astrobot, that's cool, but that's not the same thing, that's not the real deal. Jak 3, way too banging of a game. If you don't believe me, go watch, like, the middle section of this video. Jak 3, super raw. Jak 1, really, really good. Jak 2, pretty good as well, but the game doesn't run very well. It kind of gets low frames, and it's like really, really challenging at points. But Jak and Daxter, bangin'. Jak X, bangin'. Save Jak. Bring back Jak. Hashtag bring back Jak. Jak and Daxter. Daxter's an ocelot. ZUGZUG Nation original.